Anakharsis, a Scythian poet and writer, traditionally one of the seven sages, lived in the 6th century BC. According to Herodotus, he was the son of Ganeuros, the lord of the royal Scythians. His brother, probably his younger brother, is Saulius, his paternal uncle is the ruler Arepaithas. His name means invulnerable in Greek. Born of the Greek mother, Anakharsis visited the Hellenic land around 589 BC. In the city of Athens he gained civil rights, won the support of Solon, and began to pursue philosophy. Returning to his homeland, he made a sacrifice in Greek custom, to a deity foreign to the Scythians. According to tradition, because of this he was taken by an arrow to heaven. He was said to have written a book comparing the laws of the Scythians with the laws of the Greeks, as well as work on the art of war. There are many sources through centuries testifying about Anakharsis's life. There are 10 extant letters ascribed to him, one of which is quoted by Cicero. Greetings from Anakharsis to Hanno. My clothing is a Scythian cloak, my shoes are the hard soles of my feet, my bed is the earth, my food is only seasoned by hunger, and I eat nothing but milk and cheese and meat. Come and visit me, and you will find me at peace. You want to give me something. But give it to your fellow citizens instead, or let the immortal gods have it. Another letter is quoted by Lartios Anakharsis to Croesus, O king of the Lydians, I am come to the country of the Greeks, in order to become acquainted with their customs and institutions, but I have no need of gold, and shall be quite contented if I return to Scythia a better man than I left it. It is said that having been informed that Solon was employed to draw up a code of laws for the Athenians, Anakharsis described his occupation, saying, Laws are spider webs, which catch the little flies, but cannot hold the big ones. Diogenes Lartios talks about him and his work in detail. Anakharsis the Scythian was the son of Ganeur and the brother of Caduadash, king of the Scythians, was from a Greek mother. Therefore he was proficient in 2 languages. He made 800 poems for Scythians and Greeks about the laws of saving life and military things. His example of free speech provided the basis of the proverb, it is the Scythian way of speaking. Socrates says that he came to Athens in the 47th Olympics 592 BC during the reign of Eucrates. Hermippe further says that, when he arrived at Solon's house, he would order one of his servants to report that, Anakharsis was here, wishing to see him and, if possible, become his guest and friend. When the servant reported this, he was commanded by Solon to tell him that everyone would be welcomed in his own country. While walking into the house, Anakharsis said that, he was already in his homeland, so it was his duty to receive guests. Solon, admiring this skill, accepted him and made him his greatest friend. After some time, he returned to Scythia with the intention of wiping out the legal institutions of his homeland. As he imitated the Greeks very much, he was hit by an arrow on a hunt by his brother. While dying he said that, in Hellas he was kept healthy by science but lost in his own homeland by envy. However, some say he was killed while performing Greek rites. We have an epigram as follows, after much sickness or trouble, Anakharsis came to the Scythian homeland. And it was a Greek way of life that he offered to the people. The word had not yet been uttered in his mouth, a winged arrow quickly took him to heaven for this. He said that the vine gives 3 bunches, the first of which is lust, the second is intoxication, and the third is sadness. He wonders how it is that in the case of the Greeks, artists compete and non-artists judge them. Asked how one could not become a wine lover, he said, one would keep the abominations of the drunken before his eyes. He also said it was wonderful that the Hellenic are enacting a law against the insulters, at the same time the fencers, in order to strike each other, were respected. Learning that the ship's wall was 4 inches thick, he said the sailors were 4 inches away from death. He claims the oil is the drug of insanity, as the wrestlers anointed with it rage against each other. How come he said that those who forbid lying lie publicly in the pinches of pubs? He is also amazed that the Greeks drank from small glasses at the beginning of the feast and from large ones when they were already full. His portraits have this inscription, rule over your tongue, your stomach, and your intimate parts. Asked if there are flutes in Scythaland, he replied, since there are no vines either. Asked which ships were the safest, he replied, which ones were at the dry. When asked who were more, whether they were living or dead, he said, where do you put the sailors? He also said it was very wonderful what he saw with the Greeks, that the smoke was left in the mountains and the wood was carried into the city. When an Attic man insulted him because he is a Scytha, he said, "My country is my shame, but you are the shame of your country." Asked what is good and bad in people, he said the language. He also claimed that it is better to have one friend who understands a lot than to have a lot whom are meaningless. He further said that the market is a definite place for cheating and profiting from each other. When a young man insulted him while drinking, he said, "Young man, if you can't stand drinking wine at a young age, you'll be able to drink water when you're old." He invented the anchor and the potter's wheel for the use of life, as some say. There is an artifact connected to Anakharsis's name in Sackclarland. A coconut shell captured in an ornate silver socket. A sacrificial goblet, according to the tradition of the Cheikson Mahei Shandor family from the Scythian sage Anakharsis, depicted in Balazs Orban's book entitled The Description of Sackclarland written in 1869. The whereabout of the artifact since then is unknown.